Painted in oil on a 35-inch by 45-inch canvas in 1840, Joseph Mallard William Turner originally wanted the slave ship to be called "Slavers Overthrowing the Dead and Dying, Typhoon Coming On." The work was based partially on an incident in 1783, when after an epidemic had occurred on the ship, the captain ordered inflicted slaves to be tossed into the ocean. This intent was not to spare the others, but to maintain profit, because the insurance covered those who died to the sea and not those who died to the illness. The painting was later put into the hands of a Bostonian abolitionist, and George Landau, a professor of English and the history of art at Brown University, mentioned that a speculation was that it was created for an anti-slavery campaign. Short of the thin, spindly masts that pierce the sky, no fine line or boundary is painted. The reality of one object descends into a wild oblivion before passing into the next. While this painting is that of a sea occurrence, no horizon is to be found. Where the sea surrenders to the sky, no one knows. Perhaps no one cares, for our eyes are drawn to the amassing of fresh blood in the ocean. Even before the victims are cast into this liquid pit, the ocean is not permitted to be as cerulean and as a quiet and tranquil cliché. The sea seems to rebel against the reflection it is to impart of the firmament, for instead of being as fiercely brilliant as these wrathful heavens, the ocean is churning in the hues of a murky brown like the dirt dumped afresh upon a grave. The sky, wailing and heralding in a frightful dark and scarlet visage, will not weep for those already drowning, but the welkin with the sea will soon take the ship as well, perhaps to avenge what has already become their own. From the left, a dreadful darkness comes into view. A storm of both wind and brine brings with it sprays and mists of white, perhaps better perceived as the shining slime on fangs or the gleam of the reaper's scythe. From the molten sepulchre of the ocean, hands, open and widespread, grasp heavenward. To what? Only little white birds come to their pleas, not as bearers of peace, but monstrosities in instinctual hunger. Indeed, the sun watches the scene from its mighty pedestal, and if it lingers to offer a comforting ray of hope, the surges of crimson and an obscure black veil sweep in to deny its charge. A viewer of this work could conclude that Turner was trying to illustrate the act of nature on humans, being that those still aboard the ship were committing multiple accounts of murder only for self-benefit. The artist in his moral standing might have painted the scene in this way to illustrate his disapproval of the act. At the same time, the beholder could speculate that Turner's ambition with this painting was to demonstrate the brevity of life and the vulnerability of the human race to the uncaring elements. In the features and subjects that compose this work, his achievement in portraying these insights is evident. As Trevor Fairbrother, Beale Curator of Contemporary Art at the Museum of Fine Arts, explains, in art that deals with suffering or pain, there is good art and bad art. Good art has to allow a range of reaction. The slave ship does just that by inflicting an awareness of splendor in the wrath of the elements, of the political controversy in the despair of the victims, and of the raw foreboding in the distant glow soon to be overcome.